Welcome back, gentlemen. So today's conversation is around how do you actually get more done? How do you get more progress? How do you have more impact in the things that you're looking to do, whether that's grow your business or advance your career or just have a better relationship with your spouse or be a better dad? It really comes down to this core aspect. Now, in the other videos, I've explained that performance isn't just one thing. There's a number of different elements that makes up performance. But when it comes to impact, when it comes to progress, there is one thing in particular that I see men screw up on, and that is doing too many things at once, taking on too much at one period of time. And what that does is it dilutes your impact, it dilutes your energy, and ultimately dilutes your progress. So rather than taking on five different projects or trying to build three different businesses at the same time, focus on one particular thing, one or two, until they get up to a certain size and then take on additional projects or until you've seen the progress that you wanted to see. What ends up happening is when we take on too much, we are diluting our energy and not putting enough of our resources into one particular thing. So let's just say you have 100 units of energy and you have five different business projects on the go. Well, you're putting in 20 units of energy for those five business projects. Well, what does that mean? It means that each of those projects isn't getting the level of energy that it needs to get the progress that you're looking to achieve. So when I take a look at men and men are like, you know what, I'm not making the progress that I want. My business isn't growing to the level that I want, or my health isn't at the level that I want it to be. I always take a look and say, what are you focused on? What are the things? Write them down, list them down for me. And when they list them down, for the most part, 9 out of 10 times, they have way too many things. And it's not that you shouldn't be focused on all of those things. The key is timing. When do you focus on each of those initiatives? So you're better off to take, let's just say you have a list of 10. You're better off to take that 10, pare it down to 2 to 3 of your highest priorities and focus on those until you get to a level of progress that you need and then start bringing on additional things rather than just trying to do all 10 things at once. And we're all guilty of this. I'm guilty of this. And this is why one of the core practices that I do is every single week I recalibrate. It's called a recalibration. Every week I recalibrate and I say, what is my 1 year goal in this particular area? And I have a number of 1 year goals. So I have one in business, for example, 1 to 3 in business, 1 to 3 in my relationship, 1 to 3 in my parenting ability as a father, and I take a look and I say, what am I doing this week? And does it align with my 1 year goals? If it doesn't, then I have to say, I'm diluting my resources and I have to shift what I'm doing, what I'm focusing on this week to align with my goals. So that's why goals are so important because it keeps you in line with where you want to go. The analogy that I use is just think of yourself in a parking lot, and across the parking lot is your vehicle, and you're walking towards your vehicle. And you close your eyes, and as you're walking, what ends up happening? You start to drift away from that straight line towards your vehicle. This is naturally what happens to us as human beings, as people, because there's other things that are happening. We get overwhelmed, we get distracted, we get sidetracked, life hits us, and we start drifting off our path. We start drifting away from that path towards our goal. And that's why weekly recalibrations are important. It's like every week you're opening up your eyes and saying, am I in line with that goal? And if I'm not, I need to get back in line with that goal. But it's a lot easier to do when you have those goals, and it's a lot easier to do when you have less goals. So, more goals doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to achieve more things. You're better off, again, to identify your top priority goals and focus on those things. And we, again, as human beings, we have this innate nature of this fear of missing out. And therefore, that's why we tackle all these things at once. But there is nothing wrong with saying, hey, not yet. I'm not going to take that on yet. So those other 8 out of 10 initiatives that you're not going to be focused on, it's not that you're not going to do them ever. It's that you're just waiting for the right time and the right period to allocate the resources effectively. And this is what it fundamentally comes down to. Focus enables you to allocate your resources effectively and properly towards getting maximum impact and output and results. That's all it is. That's essentially it. Why waste 80% of your resources to get 20% of the results that you're looking for? That doesn't make sense. So your whole thing with resources, and we as human beings, again, we have a limited amount of resources. We have a limited amount of mental capacity, we have a limited amount of energy, we have a limited amount of time. Therefore, how we allocate those resources is critical. And if we allocate them to our top priority things, we're going to get faster results. So I'm pretty much saying the same thing, but in multiple different ways. If you're looking to make more progress, if you're looking to advance and have greater impact, take a look at what you're doing, list all the activities, pare them down to your top priorities, and focus on those things over a period of time. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 3 years. Whatever you believe is right for you is what you need to do, and then start adding other things onto your plate.